this is your friendly neighborhood hairy monster, Dave Lee, Broom Broom Travis, and you're about to hear the result of the 1977 Suzuki Grand Prix, where every bike is a winner. We rented the famous British racing circuit, Brands Hatch, so that the Texaco Heron Team Suzuki riders could take some of the latest Suzuki roadsters round and give you their expert opinions. And when we say expert, we mean just that. World champion Parrish rides the two 750cc superbikes and the GT500. American ace Pat Hennen takes the GT550, GS400 and GT380. British star Steve Parrish with the GT250, GT185 and GT125. And just listen to them go. Barry Sheene. Well, Barry, the new Suzuki GS750 looks really superb, but how does it go?
Well, I've never been a big fan of four-strokes, to be quite honest, and I got my GS750 about 2 months ago, and I've used it every single day, and the performance is quite incredible. It's nice and smooth, low down, low part of the range. Then when you really, get on the gas, it certainly does go. It's really good.
Would you say it compares favourably with the other 750 to 1000cc fours?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd say it compares with any 1000cc bike there is on the market.
Do you think it handles well?
I do. I was very impressed with the hand. It doesn't weave and shake and stuff like that.
GS750 sounds really quiet. Is it quiet when you're actually riding it?
Yeah, it's very quiet when you're riding it, and it's also very smooth. There's no vibration, which is different to the 753. But it's just generally a nice motorbike to ride.
Well, we've heard that its gearbox and final drive chain design provide very smooth gear changing. Is that so?
The GS you can change gear with or without the clutch, and you don't get any kind of clunk. I think they work very hard on the clutches, and it's very good now. It's very smooth, and you don't get a lot of snatching from the chain.
Well, Barry, just how would you sum up the new Suzuki GS750?
Well, I'd say that the factory have been working on it for a long time, over the past 3 years. Well, it was run for 3 years before it even got anywhere near a production line. So I think that they've ironed out every possible trouble that anyone could have with it, and they're still testing daily now. They've got one at the factory that's done God knows how many million miles, and I had to go on that thing, and it didn't seem any different to my one, apart from it was dirty, and that was it.
Pat Hennen. Well, Pat, although you're new to this country, I expect you've ridden plenty of road bikes back home in the United States. How do you personally rate the GT550?
550, especially when it first came out, it was ahead of its time. Suzuki was trying to build a bike that was exotic, and it definitely answered that. You look at the machine, and it was kind of modern. And, they came up with a bike that had sufficient ground clearance, and the 550 actually was a pretty fast motorcycle for its size.
Does the combination of a two-stroke engine and 3 cylinders result in real smooth power?
Yes, it's extremely smooth. 3 cylinders, you can, a combination of 3 that you can use them to balance out each other. And all the triples are extremely smooth.
How does it handle and steer?
Now, the 550 is basically designed as a touring bike, and with 2 people up or 1 person, it performs quite briskly. It's not designed for racing. And at your round town speeds and on the freeway, the thing's steady as a rock.
Do you think the disc and drum brakes are up to the bike's performance?
Especially on the street, it's a necessity to have a disc, both in the maximum performance it gives you, and just in the type of feel you have. It's considerably safer.
Would you agree that for many people it would save them quite a lot if they looked at the Suzuki GT550 instead of a 750?
Yeah, they both have their purposes. The 750 is designed for your long-range touring, or as somebody who wants a superbike power. But the 550 in its size is it's like a smaller superbike, and yet you can take advantage of the economics of it.
And how do you rate the GT550's acceleration?
I think it's astonishing. If you want to take and get wild with it, it'll stand up and light the rear tire like any other 750 bike.
What would you say to somebody who's considering buying a GT550?
I'd definitely recommend it.
Steve Parrish. Right, firstly, Steve, congratulations on joining the Texaco Heron Team Suzuki. We wish you a very successful season, and let me first ask you, how did you rate the GT 250?
That's right. I really enjoyed it. I've never ridden a GT 250 before, but I was well surprised on the performance of the bike, the handling. It really was super.
Suzuki's have been the top-selling 250s in this country for the past couple of years. It takes something to outsell every other make. Why do you think they're so popular?
Well, the 250 Suzuki is such a well-made bike. It's got a fabulous frame on it. It's really rigid. I know for a fact it's reliable, and after riding it, I can understand why it does sell so well. It really is a nice bike.
Well, you've been very successful racing 250s in the past. Are there any similarities between a racing 250 and the GT 250?
Yes and no. The racing 250s are totally different. The fact that the power band is so narrow, they're very much a lighter bike. But the basic engine design and frame design is very, very similar. The 250, it's a very torquey motor. For a 250, it pulls from any revs. It's just generally a really good bike.
Fast lightweights need good handling, obviously. How does it compare on this score?
Oh, the handling is superb. It's just set up nicely. They obviously have to set a bike up for an average person. I think I'm probably average weight and height and this sort of thing, and the bike is set up really good for myself.
Is it a comfortable machine to ride?
Very comfortable. I haven't ridden it on a long distance, but just after a few laps around Brands Hatch, you can tell that everything's right. The levers come in the right place, the handlebars feel nice, the pegs, everything's good.
The leading question, would you buy a Suzuki GT 250?
If I had the money, I sure would, yeah.
Barry Sheene, the Suzuki GT 750 is almost unique in that the tremendously successful racing 753 was developed from the Roadster, rather than the other way around. Well, you've won countless races on Suzuki 750s, so do you think this close racing connection shows up on the GT 750?
Oh yeah, without any doubt. The basic design and parts used in the engine for the road bike are almost the same as the racing bike, only the clutch is slightly different, and pistons, that's about it. And it's proved a very reliable bike. I think in the Formula 750 races we've had one of the most best reliability records of anyone.
Another unusual feature for a road bike is the water cooling. What are the actual advantages of that?
Well, with a two-stroke, it's very important to have water cooling because the engine temperature bears a big relation on the fuel consumption, the horsepower. In the old days of two-strokes, they used to get hot and seize and get hot and use a lot of oil and stick the piston rings and seize crankshafts and God knows what. But now, it's just the two big advantages are that the performance is constant. You can run it up and down a motorway all day long and it'll stay the same temperature. And obviously, if you've got less expansion and contraction, or a measured amount of expansion and contraction, then you've got yourself a reliable motorcycle.
Well, you've owned a Suzuki GT 750, so you know from experience what it's like to ride for long distances. Is it smooth, comfortable and tractable?
Yeah, it's very smooth. It's everything that I would expect it to be.
The big double disc front brake and large rear drum look really potent stoppers. Are they, though, as good as they look?
Yeah, the double disc on the front is very, very good. There's no two ways about it. And obviously you need it because it's a big motorcycle.
The Suzuki GT 750 has always been a popular superbike. With the advent of new four-strokes, do you think the days of two-stroke perhaps are numbered?
No, not in any way, shape or form. It's just a matter of preference. For say a 250, I'd prefer a two-stroke, and maybe for a 1000cc bike, I prefer a four-stroke. You know, it's just a matter of what you want.
Okay, in a few words, what do you think of the Suzuki GT 750, Barry?
Oh, it's a bloody good motorbike.